press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello everyone. So today we are going to study about what is BCS classification. BCS stands for Biopharmaceutics Classification System. What is BCS deal about? There are basically four categories in which our drug, if we have one drug, we will divide our drug into four categories on the basis of their solubility and permeability. These classes are named as class 1, class 2, class 3 and class 4. These classification is done on the basis of their solubility and permeability. If I have a drug whose solubility is high as well as permeability is high, I will place it under the BCS class 1. Whereas if my drug has low solubility but a high permeability, then I would need to place it into BCS class 2. Third is if my drug have high solubility and low permeability, then I will call it a BCS class 4 drug. BCS class 3 drug. And the last one is when both solubility and permeability are low, I will place it under BCS class 4. The main question arises that on what basis I will call that this drug has high solubility or this drug has low solubility. There should be some cutoff value that if my solubility is like this one, then I will call it a high solubility, otherwise a low solubility. So there should be a definition of solubility according to which I would place it under high solubility or low solubility. So the definition of solubility is that if I have one drug whose solubility, like if I have one drug, suppose I have paracetamol and the maximum dose that I can give it at one time, like suppose paracetamol tablets already available as 500 mg tablets, 650 mg tablets, and there can be higher tablets also. If suppose the highest dose that I can give at a particular time to a person, the highest dose of that drug, it is not like I am giving it two times. If suppose I am giving a drug two times a day or three times a day, I don't need to see what is the total dose that I'm giving per day. I'm talking about the highest dose that I can give at a particular time. Suppose I have some X drug and I can give maximum 1000 mg at a time to a person. If this 1000 mg drug is soluble in 250 ml of water, and the pH range would be that water, the pH range of water that can vary from 1 to 8. If my drug is soluble, like if the solubility of drug is came out to be such that it is more than the maximum dose that I am giving per unit 250 ml, then I will call it a high solubility drug. So if I am giving a drug with 1000 mg dose at a time in 250 ml water, that means my maximum solubility that I am giving is 4 mg per ml. So if that drug have a solubility of more than 4 mg per ml, then I will call it high solubility. Otherwise, I will call it low solubility. Next important point is why we have taken 250 ml of water. Because we usually prescribe a patient to take the medicine with 1 glass of water, and 1 glass of water is approximately 250 ml. That's why this term 250 ml comes. Next is why is the pH range 1 to 8? Because in our GIT, the pH range from 1 to 8. Like in our stomach, if we are in the fasted state, in our fasted state, there would be HCl would be released, and that is undiluted. So the pH would be around 1.2. If I have given a drug in a fed state, then my pH would be like stomach ka pH. The pH of the stomach would be like 3.2 or 4. And from small intestine, the pH ranges from 5.5 to 6 to 7, and in the large intestine, the maximum pH range is 8 in our whole GIT, and minimum is 1. So that's why I have taken the pH range of 1 to 8. This is a concept about how we have to put a drug in high solubility or low solubility. Next would be the permeability. If my drug is such that suppose I have given 1000 mg of dose, if 90% of the drug, that means 900 mg of drug passes through our GIT membrane, then I will call this drug possesses high permeability. Otherwise, I will call it a low permeability drug. So, if 90% of the administered dose penetrate the GIT membrane, then I will put it into high permeability, otherwise low permeability. There are few examples that you should need to learn. There are few drugs that are classical of BCS class 1, 2, 3, and 4, like these diltiazem, metoprolol, and propranolol. These drugs come under BCS class 1. Nifedipine, carbamazepine, naproxen, BCS class 2. Insulin, metformin, cimetidine, class 3. Taxol, chlorothiazide, and furosemide, BCS class 4. These are some of the these are some of the drugs whose name you should need to remember, because they can be asked. These are the most commonly used drugs, so they can ask you in the exam that in which class these drugs fall. Next, one more point is that this BCS classification, biopharmaceutics classification system, doesn't deal about the dissolution rate. So, what is the solubility and what is the dissolution rate? We should need to understand the difference between the two. Solubility is maximum amount of drug that can dissolve per unit volume. So the unit of solubility would be mg per ml or like gram per liter. It is like this. But the dissolution rate would be maximum amount of the amount of drug that is dissolved per ml per unit time. So the unit for dissolution rate would be mg per ml and per unit time. The unit of time would be like minute. We usually take it in minute. So when we are taking into consideration the amount of drug release with respect to time, I will call it a dissolution rate. Whereas when I have not taken into consideration the time and we are just taking concentration, I will call it a solubility. One more thing is that how to measure the solubility. Solubility is usually measured that we have placed a supersaturated solution of our drug in a mechanical shaker, and we will put this solution in this mechanical shaker ideally for about 72 hours, and the amount of drug that is released, we will call it its solubility. Why we have taken 72 hours is basically that the maximum that can be released, maximum amount that can be released would be released in that time duration. So here there is no need to take into consideration that per hour how much amount is releasing. It is the maximum amount of drug that is released, and we usually take the amount of drug that is released in 72 hours is the ideal conditions for calculating the solubility of our sample, absolute solubility. Next, dissolution rate is a concept which is not present in BCS system, but yet it is an important concept. We take this concept while we calculate, while we perform any dissolution experiment. So the USP requirement for the dissolution is that like high solubility, high permeability, how we can call a drug as that its dissolution rate is high. So a drug with rapid dissolution rate is the one whose 85% of the labeled dose is released within 35 minutes using USP apparatus 1 or 2 in a volume of equal to or less than 900 ml of the buffer solution. So why? So here we are considering amount of drug release per unit time, which I have taken 30 minutes, and the ml we have taken maximum up to 900 ml is the capacity of my dissolution apparatus. Maximum is 900 ml. Those jars are made up of 1 liter, but yet their solution, the maximum amount that we put it in is 900 ml. So this is about what is dissolution rate. Next, one thing that came in this definition is USP apparatus 1 or 2. So, what are USP apparatuses? USP dissolution, these are USP dissolution apparatus. There are 7 different kinds of USP apparatus, but here we are saying USP apparatus 1 or 2. So, USP apparatus 1 would be my basket type, and USP apparatus 2 would be my paddle type. Whereas this is opposite in case of Indian Pharmacopoeia. Indian Pharmacopoeia state paddle as the IP1 and basket as the IP2. So this is all about the BCS classification that you should need to understand. Thank you.